Hey Freaklings, Rudy Ramone here. Obviously I would have liked to do a reaction to the Independence Day 2 and Star Trek 3 trailers, or I could do a review, but to me it's just always been kind of weird reviewing a trailer because you're really never really going to quite see it again. So I'm going to do something a little different. Brought up by Mikey. I posted on my Facebook last night, because some of you guys are my friends on Facebook and Twitter and blah 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 blah. Anyways, I posted and I asked, what would you like me to write, direct, or see my version of, remake, comic adaptation, whatever. So the only person that really responded was Mikey, and it was cool because it was like perfect timing, because instead of the stuff that you're going to see from everyone else, you're going to get something a little bit different. So essentially, this is a pitch that I created off the top of my head for an alien invasion movie, because I noticed in Independence Day 2 particularly is that this trailer is pretty gritty and serious, and it was not as much fun as the original one. The original one, the first trailer, you saw fun. It was serious, but that you take out Will Smith, you take out some of the fun, smart-ass elements, and hopefully you can hear me with this dog barking in the background and neighbors driving by. But yeah, so we're out on my porch, kind of a low angle, and here it goes. This was me in an alien invasion pitch. I'm gonna try to keep it as short as possible. This is off the top of my head, so bear with me. Okay, so there's a college girl and 4 friends are camping in New Jersey, but they're all hipsters, so they have like these self-pitching tents and they selfie every step of the trip. While they're driving, there's a radio news report about strange lights over China, and she gets a FaceTime from her brother in New York City. He invites her to her niece's birthday. She can't make it out because she's already on this camping trip with her friends, and you can tell it's important to him, but she doesn't want to, and you can tell she doesn't want to deal with it. So later, after this call, she talks to the hipster dude that digs her, and he learns that the main girl and her brother don't really speak much. They're from a military family. Their dad died in a war, and the most recent war, and they lost their mother to cancer 2 years previous before he died. So, when you learn that, Twitter pics of the strange lights over China pop up, and we discover that the strange lights are over New York City now, in the daytime. And, China, night, New York, daytime. So, because they're 2 separate hemispheres. Moving on. So the lead girl becomes concerned. The group talks about the unlikelihood that it's an alien invasion, because that's the first thing they react. Because, no one's answering the phone downstairs at the middle of the night. Oh, zombies. They're like, oh, maybe, funny, whatever. So they're just like, in likelihood it's aliens. The book-smart guy of the campers, he talks about how the early UFO sightings were just secret tests for the stealth bomber. Then all their phones go beep, 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 zzz, and all that, like hell, because a friend from New York calls while everyone else is answering and tells them that there's a YouTube live stream of one of the lights landing in Central Park. And they all look at their own separate phones. They all have their own phone, and they all look at it separately, right? And they see the lights bright in the daylight. They die down, and they're amazed by what look like old school 50s spaceships, but like industrial early Star Wars battleship meets Art Deco style kind of spaceships, like the one that they shot down in Men in Black 1, the first Men in Black, before it became a franchise. And so there's like, oh shit, we're actual old school spaceships. How crazy is that? So spaceship doors opens. There's a plume of smoke, of course, because it's eerie that way. And we're seeing only the reactions of the people in the park witnessing it. And it's a park, so there's young people, there's hipsters and business types walking by on the way to work, and there's joggers. I don't know, I live in New York, but there's joggers, and there's dog walkers. Suddenly they hear ack, 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 and then laser gun burns a dog in front of them in a blink. All right, and a colored skeleton is left, and there's a glory shot of teal reflective space boots going up the body armor past laser, up to a giant mirrored glass dome of the helmet, and it just opens up to reveal, actual glass, and inside is a giant mustard yellow brain attached to a green skull with giant black eyes, with white irises, instead of brown like mine, it'd be white, and red pupils. That's right, Martians, you're watching Mars Attacks, because that's what Mikey suggested. So the sister they say this, and like, what the fuck? And then the sister's like, we got to get to New York, and all her friends are like, no, we should stay, we're safe here. They're only going to attack poorly, they're only going to attack majorly populated areas. And so she's like, fuck that, I'm saving my family. The two of her friends stay behind. What happens, who knows? But they stay behind because they're bitches. The rest go, and of course, following this type of structure, they all die one by one on the way to New York. But here's some stuff that happens along the way. Driving to New York, they see saucers blasting, military jets out of the sky. And along the way, as they're driving, seeing this, there's radio news that the saucers have invaded, at the same time invaded China, and there's army base attacks. They go to New York, and it's fucking chaos, right? There's battles in the air, spaceships blast military helicopters out of the sky, electronics. As they run past electronics stores, they see that are TV news stores, and then there's the like Washington in flames, and there's saucers destroying the Golden Gate Bridge, and people. And then they turn the corner in New York, and people are screaming and panicking, but giant, because it's in the card deck, and I just. This is so funny. Giant Martian flies swoop in, and they pick people out of the street, and they shred them to bits and eat them, and Martians are running past, blasting them, everyone and everything, and the frickin' side, just all that shit. And again, more running, and then at some point we see that a news story shows that some military men, Army, Navy, whatever, that they got a hold of the military men, and they have tied them to the exhaust ports of their spaceships and turn them on and just blast their engines into oblivion. There's like gore just shushing out, and there's like and there's just like guts, right? Because that's a card. And so sorry, I'm just like I googled some images, and I picked the ones that were kind of the gnarliest. Give me a second, I'm trying to remember. Blasting your news. But yeah. Okay, so there's that, and she calls her brother, and she says that he's holding up in their apartment building's basement, right? Of course, there's more running and chasing and trying to get away from everything. And along the way, they try to hide in a YMCA, and a Martian snags the lead girl's blonde, bitchy friend that's screaming all the time because she's freaked the fuck out the whole time. She's that stereotype because she's, the ditzy bitch. Sorry, they exist, I know a few. So, she gets yanked out, and then as they're trying to escape, they open a door to see a giant Martian spider. A giant fucking spider. John Peters would love this. A giant fucking Martian spider eating a naked dead girl in the girls' gym shower. They're all dead, some are half blasted by lasers and shit, and so they're in there, they open up to see that, and they're like, oh fuck, and then another bit, they're, again, more running and more trying to escape. Another giant spider smashes the train, and when they get back in on the street, this is so gnarly. When they get back on the street, they're trying to hide by staying off the main streets and going through a long back alley. And they see in the distance, and we see it too with them, that there's a lost little 5-year-old girl holding an ice cream cone. She's kind of crying, and she just gets fucking obliterated. She's burned to death. She's gone. Another colored skeleton left behind. And of course, friends die. Everyone else is dead, but the lead girl and the guy camper that digs her, that she gave us exposition of her life on too. Those two are alive. They get to the short apartment building where her brother lives, and it looks untouched, right? When they get to it, it's a small building. It's like 4 stories. It's not in the actual major city. It's kind of like on the offshoot, but almost on the way to the suburb. And that guy, 5-year-old girl. And yeah, it looks untouched, and when it looks abandoned, but there's a jump scare or two from looters stealing stuff, and another one stealing food and water from a dead old lady. She's dead in her apartment, and it's just a quick pass, and it's gnarly. There might be a scene coming out of there. I don't know, because I'm not actually fully writing the script. This is just a quick pitch, and God, my brain's so ahead of myself. And so yeah, past the old dead old lady's apartment, and they get to the basement where her brother and family is, and there's a few scraggly survivors, and because they're barely armed and have very little sources, but her brother, since they're both in the military, he's got bug out bags, he's got survival gear for his family. He looks like he's gonna become the hero. It's like, fuck, let's do this, right? And they're about to hug the sister and the brother when boom, a giant robot fucking hand just breaks through. That's right. Remember the giant robot? There's a giant robot. I like the giant robot, so I'm keeping the giant robot. Giant robot busts through the top of the basement. Martians, at least one or two, just like plop down, and they start just laughing maniacally as they zap everyone to hell, and everyone's getting fried, and then boom. You get the main girl and the dude cut to kick-ass credits, kick-ass end soundtrack song. Mars Attacks. That's it. That's the whole pitch. Very thrown together, very off the top of my head. So yeah, tell me what you think. Right down below. I thought it was cool. Again, off the top of my head, I didn't really put much thought into it. So yeah, thanks for checking me out, or checking us out, I should say. Check out Freak Fiction, the podcast, at soundcloud.com/kinda-sick. We're on Twitter at Freak Fiction, capital Freak, capital Fiction, one word. We are on YouTube, which you are here if you're seeing this. And follow me on Twitter at Rudy, capitalized, Ramone, capitalized, one word. The information's down below as well, but I gotta read that. So, like, subscribe, listen, share, all that. Thanks for listening, guys. Seriously, tell me what you think, and if it's some stupid. I don't want. If there's cliches, whatever. Just fucking ravage the hell out of this. I don't care. It's the top of my head. I thought it was cool. You guys enjoy it.